In this video, we're going to take a look at what instant static meshes are in Unreal and how they can help improve performance. If you're having an asset that's very simple like this brick and you want to duplicate it over and over and over again to build something more complex like a house or a wall, it's going to require you to copy and paste that object or place that object in your scene many times. Now, usually this isn't a problem if it's just a couple dozen times or even about 100 times, but once you start duplicating it hundreds or thousands or even tens of thousands of times, it's really going to slow down the performance and start upping the amount of draw calls that Unreal has to do. So you can prevent this and improve performance by reducing the draw calls by making this mesh an instanced static mesh where it will use less draw calls to draw all those meshes all at once. Now, there are some downsides to this, but in most cases, if you're using it in a localized area and you're duplicating something hundreds or thousands of times, it's most likely going to improve performance. And it can also allow for much easier workflows where you're not always having to do all your design work in Unreal. You can also make a workflow, which we'll be taking a look at, where I can use a software like Blender or Maya, where I can take that asset, that single brick asset, duplicate it and build something more complex like this, where I've duplicated roughly 445 times, and I can write a script where if I click this button just once, it will export a data file, and I'll be able to go back into Unreal, refresh that data file, refresh this item, and with a very short amount of time, all that duplication work that I did in Maya or Blender is now in Unreal. And it's kept as one asset, so easier to manage. And it'll run much quicker than if you duplicated it over and over and over again in your scene, because this is utilizing instanced static meshes in Unreal. So first we'll take a look at how we can make instant static meshes in Unreal, and then how we can write a exporter for Maya and for Blender, and write an importer in Unreal to bring those data files in and load in our placement of our assets from those other softwares. So let's go back and start talking about instant static meshes and how we can actually create them. So usually you have your asset imported into your content browser in Unreal. Here I have this brick. It's called SM_brick, SM for static mesh, and I can just place it in my scene, move it around, and start using it. Now this is fine. Again, for most assets, that's not a problem. You're not going to want to make everything an instanced static mesh. Only things that are duplicated hundreds or thousands of times and are more kind of assets that are building something bigger. Like if you built a house out of a set of wall pieces, doors, windows, those might make sense to be instant static meshes since they're probably duplicated many times to build a house or a bigger structure. For most of your props, most of your assets, you can just place them in your scene, and that's totally fine. So what about the performance differences between these two different approaches, using instant static meshes and not using them? We'll take a look at that, but first we have to kind of understand how we can create instant static meshes. It's very easy to do. We can right click, and there's many ways you can kind of go about creating them, but this is going to be the kind of most straightforward way. We can just create a blueprint. So I can right click in my content browser, create a blueprint class, make that just an actor, should be fine. And I'll name it, so I'll call it BP ISM, Instant Static Mesh, Bricks. That should be fine. And I'll open that up, and I have my blueprint here, which has nothing in it. And I'm going to add a component, and that component's going to be a instanced static mesh. And there it is, instant static mesh. Now you're also going to see a hierarchical instant static mesh. What's the difference between these two? Well, depending what you're using this duplication of this mesh for, you're going to want to choose one or the other options here. Now we're just going to talk mainly about instant static meshes because that's going to make the most sense in the context we're talking about it today and using it in. But in some cases, a hierarchical instant static mesh will be a better option. And the differences are a instant static mesh takes your mesh, it can duplicate it many, many times or instance it many, many times. And it kind of treats it all in a very limited amount of draw calls. It can draw all those assets, even if it's duplicated, tens of thousands of times. It can do it in very few draw calls. Now, that speeds up performance, but there's a downside. If you were to have that mesh scattered over a very large area or duplicated over a very large area, like kilometers or thousands of meters, an instant static mesh wouldn't be the best option, because when something is an instant static mesh, it doesn't have LODs per instance. So pretty much all the instances are like duplicates of each other. If one changes its level of detail, all of them do. So if something's spread out over a large area, they can't individually change their quality level. So that's a little bit of a problem for if something is scattered out over a large area. In those cases, you want to use a hierarchical instant static mesh. A hierarchical instant static mesh will allow each instance to be a different LOD or level of detail, depending how far away it is from the camera. So that's something that would be better for placing things like trees or rocks or additional pieces on your terrain that are spread out a much larger space. So that might be the better option. Now, why wouldn't we just use that all the time? Well, it does also produce extra load by having to calculate which LOD to display. So in some cases, a hierarchical instant static mesh used in a much smaller area might actually cause more load or slower performance than just an instanced static mesh. So instant static mesh works good for small confined areas like a house made of many different modular pieces or many different sub pieces of objects like individual doors and windows and walls that have been duplicated. And hierarchical instant static meshes would be better for if you had something like that spread out over a full city or over a very large area. So each one of these kind of has their benefits, but they're both really the same thing. Just one supports LODs and one doesn't support LODs per instance. So in this case, we're just going to use instant static mesh. So I'm going to create an instant static mesh. There it is. And I can call it really anything I want, but maybe I'll just call it ISM underscore bricks. And I have to load the mesh that I want to instance. So when I add this instant static mesh, I have to click on it, and the details, I want to look for static mesh and drop in the object that I want to instance. So in this case, it's the brick, so I'll drop that in there. And if you have multiple things like doors, walls, windows, each one of those components will need a instant static mesh here, like ISM, doors, walls, windows. Each one will have to be a different entry here, or a different instant static mesh. Since when it instances, it can only instance that one asset. So if I want to have this show up now, like if I look here, I don't actually see the brick in this viewport here because I haven't created any instances of it. So after you add the asset in here for the static mesh, you have to go down here and look for instances and add instances. So I'll go to instances and I'll add one instance. And now we see a brick. And if I add another instance, well, then I can move one of those instances. And I can keep moving these instances and start placing them. And this is how I could kind of custom build a house or build something through instant static meshes. Now, as you can see, this is a little bit tedious. It might not be the best workflow for building something more complex. And you can take those instances and move them individually, or you could open up their transforms here and change the numbers. So this might be a little bit slow. So your other option is, instead of doing this, I'm just going to remove all these instances, I could build a construction script where I write some code that automatically adds this instance and duplicates it. So if I do that, I'll go to the construction script here, or just at the top, construction script. And what I will do is do a for loop. So for loop. And maybe I'll place, let's see, first index will start at 0, last maybe 100. We'll make 100 duplicates of that brick. And then what we can do is, for the loop, what it will do each time it loops through these numbers from 0 to 100, it will add a instance static, or add instance, which will be our bricks here. So I search add instance, and I see this add instance ISM bricks. Okay, so we'll add one of those brick instances each time it goes through this number range from 0 to 100. And each time it creates that instance, it will move it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the index number, which keeps track of what loop we're on from 0 to 100. And I'll multiply it by maybe something like 30 units. And then I will output that as the transform, or how it's going to offset these bricks. So instance transform, I'll just split that. Split this, not the best way of doing this, but I'll use this now, our index value times 30, as the X location of the brick. And if I do a little script like this, and I click compile, let's see our viewport here. What did it do? Okay, it made 100 duplicates of that brick in a line. Now that's cool, that's fast, and that's great, but the problem about this is it'd be very hard to construct something more complex, like a detailed house or a building, by using code like that. You know, it's not very artist friendly. So this is not a great way of doing things if you have to build something that's more detailed. So we'll look at how we can write a exporter and an importer to be able to do that duplication work in another software like Maya or like Blender. But let's first take a look at the performance benefits of this. So this is 100 bricks duplicated in a line through instanced static meshes. And if I place that in our scene, so I'll get rid of this brick here and place that blueprint that we created into our scene. There it is, very long line of these bricks. And I just kind of benchmark the scene performance by opening up my console here and typing stat scene rendering. Get some stats here. And let's take a look at mesh draw calls. Okay, 34, 40, and 30 something. And then waiting for GPU call count 86. Okay, so it's 86. And it's pretty solid at that number. Even if I move around, okay, 88 is the highest, 87, 85. So it's around 85 to, let's just say 90. So that's 100 bricks done as instant static meshes. Now, if I remove that and I manually take a brick, not an instant static mesh, just my plain old static mesh, and I put it in here, and I copy and paste it in a line, kind of the same way, 100 times. And I'm not going to make this video take forever. I'm going to do 5 times, and then now I have 10, and then now I have 20. I know this still takes time, but that's okay. Now we have 40. So we almost have 100 after this duplication. We have 80 after I duplicate this. So let's take a look at what happens when I view all that. Okay, already our waiting for GPU call count here is 95. It's already surpassed what our instant static mesh was at. So already it's resulting in lower performance. So it's not too much of a big deal. It's not changing my frame rate really at all. It's not a huge impact right now. But you can imagine if you stack this up into the thousands or tens of thousands, it'll really lower the performance. Whereas using instant static meshes, you'll retain more performance. So this is very important if you're duplicating an object many times. You're going to want to use instant static meshes or hierarchical instant static meshes. So hopefully it gives you an idea of why we'd want to do this. And next, what we're going to do is go over how we can write a exporter for Blender and for Maya to export the position data of objects from those softwares into a file, and then be able to import that file into Unreal and use it to place our instant static meshes. So it'll be much easier to create more complex structures in Unreal. And if you're enjoying these videos, don't forget to take a look at the Patreon link in the description, where if you're a Patreon member, you'll be able to get all the steps for these videos in a PDF format for reference or for review. So that's always a good thing to have. So definitely take a look at that. And at the end of this video, you're going to see 2 links pop up. One for if you're going to write the exporter for Maya, and one for if you're going to write the exporter for Blender. So I have videos on either workflow on how to write the exporter to export the locations to a file that we can read into Unreal.